I can tell this is a passionate subject for you.
Well, I got wet. I mean, I live in North Idaho. You're going to get wet. Whether it rains or not, you're always wet.
And I think that's maybe something to realize before you get started. Like if you're not from a rainy area or you live in Southern California and it's all sunshine and butterflies all the time, then, you know, wet scares you, first of all, if that's where you're headed to hunt. And you have this idea in your head that if I buy the best rain gear, it's going to stop me from ever getting wet. And I just don't think that's the truth. You have to mentally believe that you're going to get wet. It's just how much you get wet and then how fast you can dry.
Yes. Welcome to the Shoot to Hunt podcast. I'm Ryan Avery. I'm here with Jacoby Machaney. Welcome to the show, Jake. It's 12:17 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Jake was supposed to be here at 9 a.m.
You're so close. Oh man.
Okay, I was supposed to be here at 9 a.m. We had a podcast with the suppressor company. He got sick, so of course I took my time getting over here.
Yeah.
Well, and then Ryan Lampers called me, so I talked to him. And then, I set up a podcast with Lampers. So I was doing business.
I set one up too. We're all good.
Yeah. We have got some hot podcasts coming for you pretty soon.
Yes. If you enjoyed the control round feed one, it's only going to get better from there.
The control round feed definitely, I don't know what do you call that? Festered some people up.
Stirred the shit.
Flared them up. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely upset a lot of retired folk.
And again, it's just our opinion. Are we right? Are we wrong? I don't know.
Before we get started, how fat is your ass today?
Oh yeah. It's continuing saga. 180 by September 1st. And I'm started at 219, went on a cruise, went to 224. And as of this morning, I'm 216.
It always gets coldest just before the dawn.
216. And I can't say the price, that I'm in a bet with my chiropractor, but I can't say the price because Tanya might listen.
Oh shit!
On who's going to lose the most weight by July 1st.
Dude, I can imagine just by the way you described that, it's at least 4 digits.
You would be maybe right. I cannot.
You almost let it go.
I cannot say, but it's more than $1.
Yeah, more than $1, less than $1 million.
Yep. So we do have that going, and hopefully, I drew some tags, so I'm trying to. I got to lose some weight for that, but I got to lose some weight just to live longer so I can kill more animals.
When you drew Wyoming, is that a specific unit?
Yep.
Are you allowed to say?
No.
Okay.
It's somebody's unit and I didn't even think I drew it. Like when you texted me, I looked it up and when I pulled it up, I thought I said, I'm half asleep. I said unsuccessful. So I didn't look. And then when I drove in here, I drove in here. I was like, oh shit, it's successful.
Oh,
so we're good.
So it never said, because mine said unsuccessful. Were you supposed to look in another place?
No, when I was reading it, I thought, because it has your unit number, and when I was looking at it half awake, I thought it said unsuccessful. So I was like, shit. Well, then I got online and I was looking at numbers, and I said, man, I looked again when I was actually driving. Shouldn't have been looking, but I drive and I was like, man, I can't believe it. And I was like, successful. Huh. So I walked in here.
You were in a Tesla with the autopilot. You could look.
Yep, me and Bruce Dom. Flying over here in the Teslas.
Okay, so we can't say what unit, but it's going to be good.
Yep.
We're going to record that?
Yep.
You going to film it?
Yep. I don't know how that's going to go down because
that's the one you were telling me you can only go in with one person?
It's logistically not easy. So
even with llamas?
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Livestock, because you're going to need some weight, some room for more weight coming out. Because chances are highly likely we're going to shoot an elk. And, more people, less animals are hauling because they're hauling your shit, or you got to haul more.
Yeah.
So
how far are you going to go in?
12 miles.
Oh, shit.
Well, it's because you got to jog around private, so it's not straight.
It keeps what just flashed in front of my head right now, this little video keeps going on Instagram where the guy calls his buddy and he's like, it's having the elk down. Like he calls his buddy, he's like, where'd you shoot it? And he just stares at him. He's like, He was like, no.
You remember the conversation we had on the phone before I shot that elk? We're in Montana.
Oh, fuck, yes.
And you had hauled an elk already out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they come this way, I'm fucking shooting one. And they came my way. And
it happens.
I don't know the number. I think it was at least 9 miles. It was somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was 9 miles.
And that's the same thing. If straight line, it's not very far from a road, but you got to jog around private. Same kind of deal down there. So you got to go, 3 miles this way, 5 miles this way, and 4 miles this way, or you can just walk straight. It's only like 3 miles. So that's hunting.
Maybe go talk to the landowner. Maybe you'll get lucky.
I actually looked up his number. So,
nice.
Because literally, if I could walk, what I'm going to ask him is say, hey, if I shoot one, not just cut across the beginning, if I shoot one, could I bring it out that way?
Yeah. Nice.
Even if there's like a trust, I don't know in Wyoming if that's legal, but if it wasn't, I wouldn't do it because.
In Wyoming is where they're doing the corner crossing deal, is it?
Yeah. No, the whole fight there is they own the air, right? So if they get a ladder or they cross on that ladder, even if it's not touching, they're touching their air property. They're
so owning land entitles you to the airspace above it?
Yeah.
There's got to be a ceiling.
Yeah, there is. I don't know what it is, but a certain feet. Oh. So they're saying, did they cross their airspace? That's still, I believe they won in criminally, but I think they sued them civilly. So I think that's still going through. Yeah.
Interesting.
So you did not draw Wyoming. I don't think I even asked.
I didn't know. Yeah, we didn't draw.
But we have Montana.
We got Montana. We got lots of applications in Idaho.
Yep. Idaho's a crapshoot. It's always random, which I like. I don't like points. I like random.
Well, it's hard to like points because of point creep over time that you can't get away from.
Yep. I have 1 million points in Utah. I'm not going to say for elk because jinx myself against somebody else. If you don't want, basically, I need a lot of people to draw or die, and that sounds morbid, but it's the freaking truth. And it takes me, 20 something years of my life to acquire this many. You don't want to just go off and shoot a 300-inch bull. So I hate points. And the West is just getting more crowded with hunters. So, which I can't say is a bad thing because you want hunting numbers, but you also want to be able to draw tags. And Wyoming is weird this year because a lot of people drew that shouldn't have. So I think it must have been down. Or they got lucky and got randoms. I think it's 25% random in Wyoming.
Yeah. That's why we put in.
You put in for elk, deer, and antelope, or just elk?
Just elk.
All right. Well, should we talk about what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, we should. Should probably get some work done today.
The notes say cold and wet. That could go a lot of ways, but
yeah, I was trying to think of some asshole-ish name for it. I don't know. I just went with a standard cold. I don't like being cold and wet, so now I have all kinds of questions, related to the topic. In my opinion, I don't know a lot of people. I just know Ryan, so he's the best guy with gear. So that's what I'm left with.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk rain gear in particular. And I always say this at the beginning. I'm not an expert. I only know the stuff that I have used and the stuff that I know works. There's far more people out there with the actual technical terms. Down.
We're going to cover a lot more shit than just like a rain jacket and rain pants, though.
But rain wise, you got to plan for it. In northern Idaho, like bear hunting, like last year, I did a podcast on Rockslide about down, supposed to come out today about down, about the differences in down. And last year, you were there. Last spring was one of the wettest springs I ever remember. It rained almost every day while we were bear hunting. And it was the snow. It just didn't go away. It was just super wet last spring.
That's why I brought this up right now, because we're about to head up to bear camp.
Yeah, there's, we'll get into it, but there's two philosophies, and you talked about it. It's in here about being a pussy or not. And
yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get to there, but it's interesting how, like, I talked to multiple people hunting, and they have totally different ideas of what they do. Like, I'll tell you what I do when we get down here, but they do. I literally just asked Lampers what he does, and it's totally different in the rain.
So his system and how he copes with it is different than yours.
How he copes with it, yep.
Okay.
And
I think that's part of it. I mean, it's not just the gear, because there's it's half mental, because I've never sat out in the rain for an extended period of time until last year at bear camp. Me and Mason were sitting out at that spot, and it was pouring good. It wasn't a little bit of rain. It was enough that by the time 30 minutes of sitting there, and we were soaked through. And that was with that sick, was it called cloud burst?
I don't know. You had the storm front or the cloud burst?
The cloud burst. Yeah. So both of us had the same sick cloud burst rain gear on, and it didn't take but 30 minutes, and we were wet through. It was wet through, but it was dumping hard, and we weren't like sealed up very good. And then you're sitting there, and I'm telling myself, I don't think a fucking bear wants to be out in this. So then you start talking yourself out of why you're sitting here in the fucking rain, and that's why I put that in there. Like, at what point are you considered a pussy when you give up and pack it in, because I'm sitting there soaking wet to the bone, and I don't believe a bear is going to come out here because you say bears like it how we like it. Mm-hmm. So it's not sunny. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to be out in the fucking rain.
Growing up, I always heard bears love the rain and the cold, and I have not found that to be true at all. Bears like it just like humans do. They don't like it too hot, they don't like it too cold, and they don't like it too wet. Yeah. So the best days, like 60-degree and overcast, is when I see most of the bears.
Yeah.
But the rain wise, and rain's different with different hunts. You know, if you're backpacked in, it's going to be a lot different rain system than if you're on a bear bait where you're 500, 600 yards from a truck.
Yeah, being stuck versus knowing you have dry shit that evening going back to camp, that's definitely different mentally.
Yeah, we can get into we have a lot of notes, but
let's just start.
My philosophy is going to be a lot different if I have to live in that rain, if I have to live out there a few more days, or if I don't, anyways, we can get going. The first one is a different, go ahead.
Well, I mean, really just start off with talking about, like, if you could choose any rain gear on the fucking market right now, regardless of price, what are you wearing?
That's
just the outer.
Two-stage, it's a two-part question. So if I am static bear baiting, it's probably going to be either a 3.5 layer or a 4, like now even first, and it used to be simpler, a 4.5 layer. I think it's called a Grundens PVC, which the problem with PVC is you get wet either way. There is no waterproof rain gear if it's breathable. It's a farce. If it's breathable, water.
It's not a fucking check valve. In other words, nope. If air can get out, then water can get in.
Yep. So you have all these fancy, I was just telling you about them. You have 10, 10. One is the first number, say it's 10K on your rain gear. The first number is the is the rain resistance number. The higher that number, the highest I think is like 40K. And that's super waterproof. And then it's going to have a breathability rating. And you'll notice that the more waterproof it is, the lower the breathability.
And what type of manufacturers are listing those? Like if he goes on,
everybody.
Luke, pull up Sitka Cloudburst rain gear there. It don't matter top or bottom. Let's see if they got those numbers on there.
Sitka is like the fucking worst with their labeling, their weights. They used to be. Let's see if they got it.
Yeah.
Because on Rockside, people always would bitch about they don't have enough detail.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see if they have it on there. But
I imagine a manufacturer may want to conceal those numbers if they're not great. In other words, they're not lying to you. They're just omitting details.
Yeah. And it's like, it's how like it moves through a fabric in like a 24-hour period. Mm-hmm. And then you add those numbers into how much my fat ass sweats. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not only going to fuck up the breathability and the rainproofness because I'm getting basically fat, grease, sweat, whatever you want to call it. But I'm also not exerting, because if you're exerting, you're hot, you open up those pores and it will breathe better. So it's not straightforward. Mm. You want more breathable while you're walking, but how far do you want to walk in a downpour anyways? Mm-hmm. Unless you're leaving.
That's one of my questions. At what point during a downpour do you fucking pull over and put yourself in a tent or whatever? But
yeah, okay. Exactly.
Yeah, so they're not giving you those numbers. They're using a bar system there for breathability and water protection. They're not giving you the actual
weights now. And which one was that? What is that?
This should be the Cloudburst jacket.
The Cloudburst, I can't believe it's a 3-layer. I didn't know that. Mm. So that's a 3-layer, and that's, 3 layers is supposed to be pretty freaking rainproof. Uh-huh. But that's another thing. People say how you said you were opened up, and that's with everything buckled down and your hood on.
Yeah, that's with, your fist cuffs and everything are down in the, if you don't ball yourself up good enough and not have open holes somewhere, then you're eliminating the point. I mean, yeah.
But I don't know, if you go into like if you go to a First Light or you go to any of the
what's the next, what will be the best rain gear then? So we said what would you buy in a static situation? What's your jacket?
Static situation? Mm-hmm. If I'm going to pure hunting brands, it would be the new rain jacket from First Light. It's a 4.5 layer.
We pull that up, Mr. Luke.
It is called, names jump out. It's got a weird name. The problem is it's almost like wearing suspenders. That kind of material. Uh-huh. But it has here's a problem with PVC.
Well, like elastic. What do you mean suspenders?
Like, not suspenders, sorry. It's for when you're fishing.
Oh, waders.
Waders, sorry. Okay, it has wader material to it.
Oh, imagine.
And it's thick, but it does have a breathability rating.
You're putting yourself in a fucking condom.
Nah, it actually breathes decent unless I'm not going to hike in it.
Yeah.
Like the best. Yeah,
is that it?
That's it. Orman Storm Shelter jacket. And there used to be 2-layer, 3-layer, 2.5 layer, 3-layer. Now there's 3.5 layer and 4.5 layer.
Do you have this jacket here?
Yep, I got that one. I wore it last year while we were bear hunting.
Well, I need a different fucking jacket because that Cloudburst didn't cut it.
That's not a walking around. That is a wet weather jacket.
Yeah.
The best jacket that I've ever had it's not exactly lightweight, but for breathability and hiking is the Cryptic, the Tucker. It's just a weird name. It's an Afghanistan name. It's a mountain range in Afghanistan.
Okay.
The Takar. So look that up. Cryptic rain jacket, Luke, the Takar.
Cryptic Takar. Okay. So static jacket and moving jacket.
Moving jacket, it would be the Cryptic one. It's not lightweight. It's still like 20 ounces, but the breathability is the reason I'd take that jacket. And it's pretty stinking waterproof. So like you said, you got wet with the Cloudburst. There's a guy.
And I don't want to bash on the Cloud. I probably wasn't sealed up the way I should have been.
No, that's the thing is you have to have it all. That rainproofing, if your hood's open, obviously you're going to get water through the top.
Yeah.
Or if you have the pit zips open and you're moving around, you probably get water through there.
I think mentally I knew I was going back to camp to dry shit, so I didn't make it a big deal. But then you're still sitting there, and then it's pouring even worse, and you're soaked through before you know it.
That's the hunting in North Idaho. You're going to get wet. Even if it doesn't rain, there's a lot of dew. The brush is going to be wet. So I rarely would I ever wear rain bottoms. I just wear a pair of pants that really dry quickly. But I'd always wear a rain jacket. And I used to wear cheap stuff, but then I figured, man, this stuff's always ripping. The DWR is gone within days. So I went to I went to Arc'teryx. I've had some, I think it was
Arc'teryx pretty high-end shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people are going to flambaste me, but a lot of that, what I've seen is a lot of it's name. They do have some good stuff, but a lot of that isn't significantly better than stuff you're buying at REI. Some of it is, but some of it isn't. And their rain gear is decent, but I like to support hunting brands.
Yep.
So pretty much all I've worn to the last.
And the pants are going with these two items, or the pants are different? Or you just said you're just wearing fast drying pants anyway. You're not worried about rain pants.
I try not to wear
even static,
pants.
Even sitting down.
Generally, even if I have a different theory we'll get to on if I'm sitting down and it starts fucking pouring, I'm getting a tarp out.
Okay.
So I'm not going to sit there and get wet. So I'm just going to put a tarp out. Even if that's where this is all kind of, doesn't matter to me as much how well the rain jacket works, because if I'm hiking, I'm not hiking out with meat or going home. I'm going to pull a tarp out and try to wait it out. If I know that it's going to be raining for 3 or 4 days, then I'm going to try to make the best of it. But hopefully I have 90% of the time now I have a hot tent so I can go back and dry it out, hang it up.
Hot tent meaning something like a teepee that has a stove inside that you can burn wood and dry yourself out. Yeah,
and if you're all by your lonesome and you don't have a hot tent, and it's a chore to dry something out, you almost got to walk it out. Make your own heat
with your body heat,
and dry it out. You go watch the rewarming drill from John Barclow. That explains how that works. But the breathability, it's all kind of BS, because as soon as you start sweating, or as soon as you have to be able to wash that jacket to get it clean, to get it back to that breathability rating. And then you're also losing DWR every time you wash it. So I don't really pay attention to that. What I do notice is jackets that leak quickly and jackets that don't. And face weight is another thing. Like if you take the old Seek jacket from First Light, it was a 3.5 layer jacket. I took it to Kodiak. Well, the face fabric is so heavy, it got saturated with water and it couldn't push it out anymore. So it just started soaking in and threw the jacket into my clothes. So I stay away from like jackets with heavy face fabric. And I say that First Light jacket, that Omen jacket is heavy, but it's so heavy. I think there's more layers in there. It can't get through those layers. So I guess I'm kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth on that. It's a different fabric. It's ultra waterproof, not that breathable.
I can tell this is a passionate subject for you.
Well, I got wet. I mean, I live in North Idaho. You're going to get wet. Whether it rains or not, you're always wet.
And I think that's maybe something to realize before you get started. Like if you're not from a rainy area or you live in Southern California and it's all sunshine and butterflies all the time, then, wet scares you, first of all, if that's where you're headed to hunt. And you have this idea in your head that if I buy the best rain gear, it's going to stop me from ever getting wet. And I just don't think that's the truth. You have to mentally believe that you're going to get wet. It's just how much you get wet and then how fast you can dry.
Yes. And if you're hunting in Colorado, I talked about this before there in Snyder. If you're hunting Colorado, man, that's the sunshine state for mountain states. It does rain there, but it's nothing like North Idaho or seeing the central Idaho or, Northwest Montana or the coast or, the coast in Oregon or Washington State. Because that's the thing that people don't understand is, I don't know. I'm not a freaking weatherman, but it's always dewy in the fall here and it's always brushy. So whether it rained or not, if you're walking, you're going through brush that's wet. So you're constantly in a state of wetness. And two things you got to do, you got to keep from getting chilled, obviously hypothermia. Another big thing, wearing gaiters because that shit's going to go and soak through your pant leg and into your boot.
One thing I realized early on too, when we started hunting was that if you are from Southern California, again, sunshine and butterflies, you believe that when you come up here and go hunting that you're walking on trails. And nobody's fucking walking on a trail when you're out hunting for the most part. If you don't get off the trail, then you're not getting into animals anyway. But gators, when there's dew on the brush, when you're walking through, you don't realize how wet your pants will get just walking through the woods. Like you said, even when it hasn't rained, it's just in the morning. So you got to prepare for that too.
Absolutely. And I always thought gators were so dumb. And then
they make my fucking legs sweat, dude. I get like the knee-high gators, and underneath it's almost like it may defeat the purpose, but underneath the gators after a good hike, I'll be like at the Selway we went to, I'll be soaking wet underneath the gator.
Yep. And
you're
that's
like wow, should I have worn them anyway?
And that goes to the PVC thing on the jackets. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. You're going to get wet either way. And that's why I do believe what John Barklow has to say about moisture management. You need to wear clothes that freaking move the moisture away from you and evaporate it. And I have yet to see, and I'm a sweater, you're a sweater. I have yet to see a rain jacket that will let enough moisture out for me if I'm walking.
Just stay dry.
So it's not like a priority to me. What I want to be able to stay dry when I'm not moving and stay somewhat dry while I am moving and figure out a way to get dry at the end of days. So if I know it's going to rain all fucking day, and chances are, people, you can argue about what animals do when it's raining. We all have our own philosophies. That's a whole other podcast. But if it's going to be, and I don't mean drizzling, I'll hunt a lot in drizzle, which, but if it's a downpour, I'm going to stop and put a fucking tarp up and wait it out. Because I don't know.
You play a little Yahtzee? Like, what do you do under your tarp when you're not hunting? You're just stuck.
Do a little pickle practicing.
Fuck.
No, I have like a.
Me and the boy, we bring Yahtzee because you got it's 5 dice and a couple half pencils and a couple pieces of paper.
I don't know how to count, so you lost me. I can only count to 3.
Yahtzee's fun.
Well, what if you're by yourself?
Yahtzee still works when you're by yourself.
I don't know. I usually end up reading shit on my phone. I have a few books on my phone, or I'll have some. I'm a podcast junkie. That's why we have a podcast. Is always listen to podcasts. So Yahtzee, anything kill the day. Usually, I try to set up in a place where animals could cross, but I don't. In a dead downpour, which happens frequently in North Idaho, there's not a lot of shit moving. So
sometimes they're short lived, though. Most of the time it's afternoon, and then it is short lived.
Yeah, and you have like I'm not a weatherman, but you'll have these downpours and it'll be drizzle, and I'll move around and drizzle. It's just there's nothing moving when it's just hammering. I have not killed an animal in a hammering rain. I'm sure somebody has to prove me wrong, but it's like a bear. They want it like we want it. So.
Okay, so we talked about a lot of things already. To be honest with you, breathability versus waterproofness. They're kind of they
flip flop. Yep.
Yeah, they flip flop.
There's nothing. So just to be clear, outside of PVC, there's nothing waterproof out there. If it's breathable, it's not. It's heavily water resistant. Is not waterproof.
How long should you expect to stay dry with great rain gear? Well, it depends on how well you're sealed up and all that good shit.
Yeah, because inevitably you're moving around. Are you walking or are you static? You can stay pretty dry in rain gear if you're static, all bundled up. And and you have good rain gear like that Omen rain gear, or that even the Takar, I think it's called the Takar from Cryptic. I have yet to wet it out. The only rain gear that I have personally ever wetted out was that Seek First Light stuff. I haven't wet it out. Well, that's not true. Cabela sold some chicken shit rain gear that wetted out on me a few years ago, but it was like,
I bought some of that originally where it all bundled up into its own little bag thing. Yeah, I bought that shit.
I had it like early 2000s and it wetted out.
Yeah. Once you're wet, what is the best thing you can do to stay warm?
Well, again, it depends if you're close to the truck or not close to the truck. If you have no way to build a fire or have a fire, because a lot of times when it's snowing or shitty, I'll just not only get a tarp, I'll start a fire somewhere. Or if I know I have a hot tent, I'll just wait till I get back to the hot tent. Or if you don't have none of the above, you're going to have to walk it out. You're going to have to dry it out. Or a fourth thing, and I say this because I don't know your sleeping bag situation, but you can dry it at night in your sleeping bag.
Okay.
You just get in there wet or put it in there wet with you. Hopefully it's better to wear it and dry it out.
Wear your gear wet, get in your sleeping bag, and you're going to wake up and you'll be dry.
And you'll notice you can do it. And I always got to get up and piss at some point in the middle of the night. So if my jacket's wet, I'll get out and the jacket will be somewhat dry. So I'll take that off and I'll be to the next level, and I'll take that off until I'm down to, I'm a hot sleeper. So it doesn't take me very long to dry out. If you're using a shitty down bag, you can get in trouble of getting your down wet and losing loft. So I say that as a caveat and make sure.
So you need to have a real good sleeping bag if you want to use that system.
Yeah. And what's funny is like, I told you, I just did a difference between down and treated down on rock slide is I have a Western Mountaineering sleeping bags, 3 of them. It's pretty much all I've ever used. And they're down and they are not treated. And I have got in there soaking wet and I've never lost loft. So somebody smarter than me to tell me why that happens. I've hunted one of the wettest environments in the lower 48 in North Idaho, and I have yet to lose loft in a sleeping bag. I've lost loft like a mother in jackets, but not in the sleeping bag, which is bizarre to me.
We have all the Western Mountaineering ones too. We never got in wet, but never had a problem anyway.
No. That's, I think, more of a problem. It's not a big a problem as people make it out to be. I mean, if it was your life, you're sheep hunting in BFE, Alaska, or somewhere like super wet, like Kodiak or the Aleutians or Southeast Alaska, that would be in my mind to use a synthetic bag. But I've thought I was going to die in the Selway and still thought I could walk out. So I don't know. I'm probably not the best person to tell you about your survival situations.
Taking it to the edge.
I've done a lot of dumb stuff.
My feet always get cold in the sleeping bag, so I carry around the
booties.
Yeah, I think it's Feathered Friends or something like that makes little booties in, and they make all the. Sometimes I feel like a bitch a little bit, like bring my little booties along. I actually leave the booties down in the sleeping bag, so they're always there for me.
Very nice.
Dude,
perfect.
The booties, I have Light Equipment.
Okay, and maybe that's the brand.
And the Feathers Friends, I think, makes them too.
The ones I bought, actually, I bought them like fucking 10 years ago, and they actually have they have an outer boot that you can put over them so you can walk around camp. Like it has a shoe bottom that kind of ties up over the down booty. Now, these is like 10 years old now.
I think I've seen those, but I don't know who makes them.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but.
I have Light Equipment. They're just straight booties. They weigh nothing, like 2 ounces.
Yeah.
And they are.
Well, it's fucking worth it.
Game changers.
Because that down is next to your feet like the whole time you're sleeping.
So another thing I do is if my feet are wet, I'll put them in there and they have dried out socks.
Nice.
Yep. And another thing, this is just tips to dry shit out, is heating up water in your Nalgene. I've heard that in other podcasts. That's not for me, but I've been doing that for years.
I did that when we were in Montana hunting deer. Dude, it was fucking cold up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a single digit, I think, that first night. And I heated up the water because we had the big stove, and that helps a lot.
I've done it for
a lot more than you think.
I didn't say it first. I didn't come up with it, but I've been doing it for years, and it's a game changer.
Yeah. Some people, I'm sure, will be scared to put water down inside their bag, but if you use it, Nalgene's are pretty fucking tough.
Well, dude, common sense always, right?
Yeah.
Put the boiling water in there, feel it. Yeah. If it isn't burning you, you're okay. If it's fucking burning hot, it's not going to melt. People say, oh, it's melt the Nalgene bottle. It's not going to melt the Nalgene bottle.
No.
Get the BPA free one.
And you're not putting the fucking boiling water against your skin. Like you got the booties or your socks on, and you
usually have clothes on.
Yeah.
You're not putting on your bare chest or legs.
It fucking helps a lot. Especially if you do it before you get in the bag, like maybe 30 minutes before or whatever, it actually heats up inside for you before you get in there.
What I see it as is just like a hot tent. It's a morale booster to me. Like I do a lot of things solo, so it's like put that in there. It's like, oh yeah, all my little bullshit fears or whatever go away.
When we went up with you to that one peak where I almost died with that 300 number, right? So I didn't want to say where it was. When you pulled out, you had a fucking cot.
Yeah.
You pulled out your little ultralight cot, and I'm like, this motherfucker is living large.
Oh, you dude, it's comfort because if you sleep like shit, you're not going to want to do anything.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, don't bring a pillow. Well, fuck, man. If I don't bring a pillow, I have a neck crink the next day when I'm back and it's sore. And
you a side sleeper?
Yep, bad. Yeah. Bad side
sleep. So I like big hips. So I'm a side sleeper too.
And for some, big hips.
I do. I got big hips. Like I got big love handles. It don't matter what I weigh, dude. I could weigh 140 pounds. I still have love handles. But when I'm laying on my side, it's like the hip needs to be like the lowest point. But when you're laying on the ground, it doesn't like compress or like, sink down in the fucking dirt. So I always get these where every like 30 minutes I have to roll over.
Yep.
So it seems like I never sleep right, but.
Yeah, but you take a pillow.
Yeah, definitely have to have a pillow.
Yeah, I don't know how people that just tougher than me, I guess, because man.
I carry like a heavy one. It's like a big plush. It still folds up and all that, but it's a nice pillow.
My pillow?
No, it's not a fucking My Pillow. That'd be intense. I'm surprised when you pulled your cot out, you didn't pull out a fucking My Pillow.
Well, we had the goats, man.
I know.
I knew you were. Your pack was too heavy. We should have put more in the goats, but I didn't realize your gun was 57 pounds.
I wasn't in any kind of shape. It wasn't like Ryan. You don't get any fucking logistical information out of Ryan. He's like, "Oh, meet me at the gas station." You don't know where the fuck you're going or what you're doing, and it turned out to be. It was a pretty epic. You might not think so, but I hadn't even touched Canfield. Right. I hadn't done a single thing with myself, and I just wasn't ready.
You did great. Mason said you thought you were going to die, but you made it.
If you didn't have some rehydration type of shit, well, by the time we got up there, I would have died. But lessons learned.
Yep, that was a good trip.
Okay. Best way to dry shit out when wet. Ultralight tarps and deployment strategy. Now, I say that because I'm sure you have a preferred ultralight tarp to start. And then deployment strategy, meaning like some guys are using trekking poles, different types of tie outs or little hardware, cinch hardware type of shit. So what do you use and how do you deploy it?
I thought you had been, but you remember we haven't really done a lot of backpacking together outside of a few trips. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but it was Cuban fiber. Now it's Dyneema and was a Z-Pack.
Yep.
And it's a 8.5 by 10 and it weighs like nothing, like 7 ounces, 9 ounces. And it's old. And I pack that every time I go somewhere, but I'm probably going to do something different this year because it's got a lot of silicone and a lot of burn holes. Because I'll start it does use a trekking pole. And I put I got an old Kafaru pack and I cut it out because it's ruined. And I put it in the middle so I can put a trekking pole in the middle. So I can tie it off to whatever. And then I can poke that trekking pole to get it up and away from me. And then I usually, if it's really shitty, I'll start a fire out in front of it. So I got a little bit of burn holes at the top that I siliconed over. But that's what I carried 90% of the time. But Brad, this is a shameless plug because I kept pushing him to make it. Brad from Argali is coming out with a tarp, and I hope he thinks this is okay. A tarp that's his material. It's not Dyneema. It's a little more durable, but it's not like sil nylon. If you guys have used sil nylon, you'll stretch it really tight and then you'll come back and it's fatigued.
Yeah, because it's wet.
Yep. And it's all, then you have to retighten it. Well, this stuff that he's using doesn't have fatigue, and it's going to be a 8.5 by 10. And he already has that center piece where you can jam the pole in there and then all the tie outs.
Huh.
So, but anyways, I like 8.5 to 10 because if you go any smaller, you have a lot of shit, even if you're solo. Or if there's two of you, to get it all inside if it's raining, to get all your gear and be able to make food, or if you want to play Yahtzee or you want to do whatever, you have to have enough room to dick around with it. And I always have a Buzz. Buzz is usually with me. So
yeah, we just bought that one before the Selway deal, and I can't remember the damn name of the brand, but it's a super light brand, whatever.
Dyneema?
Yep. I spent the extra money.
It's not Z-Pack?
It's not Z-Pack. Hyperlight Mountain Gear. Yeah, I bought the Hyperlight, and I think I bought a 10 by 10 or a 12 by 12 because me and Mason are big. And we slept under it up there. It wasn't just a rain emergency shelter. We were sleeping under it. But it's at least a 10 by 10. And it wasn't cheap.
Dyneema is awesome. The problem with Dyneema is It's not very fucking packable. It's light, but they want you to pack it different way each time you do it. And man, it gets not just burn holes easy, it just gets holes easy. And I got a trekking pole hole through one. I had the silicone because I was trying to put it through the hole and in the dark, and you get it tight and then you look over and it's through the fucking material, or the wind kicks up and it jumps out of the little hole and into the tarp material.
Yeah.
So
we were up on that fucking peak up there at the Selway, and it started pouring rain, which saved our ass anyway because we ran out of water. But that tarp wasn't big enough for the both of us. We had Tyvek ground sheets, and then of course a mattress, Neo Air, X-Lite, whatever it is, and then the sleeping bags. But your sleeping bags were like right on the edge of that tarp, having it set up in a V style. I definitely kicked myself in the ass. I would have rather carried an extra half a pound and had a tent just to keep the water out. I felt like everything was getting wet, and then my mattress popped. So we're fucking, it's raining, and I'm trying to, it's the middle of the night, it's dark, it's trying to find the hole in the mattress. Luckily, I had the right patch, with us. So always carry a fucking patch for your mattress, I'll tell you that, because that'll ruin your fucking trip, ruin your night for sure.
Yes, indeed.
The ground is not soft.
No, and it's not, it's like a mental thing too. Like, fuck, now I got to sleep on the cold ground, even though you have the insulation from the actual pad still.
Yeah.
But there's no, it's like not having a pillow.
Yeah.
It just sucks. This little fucker Buzz has popped more pads for me than anybody with his paws, so I always carry a little.
Yeah, but you can curl up with him and steal his heat.
Yeah, he is a little heater.
Yeah.
You also had a kind of cool thing you guys did to get water. You made a little rain collection thing with the tarp.
Yeah, we popped our fucking water bag, on the way up the fucking 3,000 foot mountain to the top, and we thought we'd be all right. And my son had a great idea about collecting water, so we took. It was an extra tarp I had, I think, for like a meat tarp or something. And we set it up, and we collected rainwater, and man, it saved our ass. And that was his idea, and it worked fantastic.
Yeah, there is no water up high up there.
No, it sucked.
What's next?
How does rain affect other gear? So not your bodice getting wet, none of that, but talking spotting scopes, binoculars, rifle scopes, backpack, how long is a Kafaru bag good without a pack cover on it? Just all your other shit. I
used to carry a pack cover forever, and I just figured out that I never used it, but I always took a contractor bag, and I always end up, again, situational, if it's a downpour, I'm getting everything underneath a tarp. But if I'm hiking out, I shot something, I know I'm going to get wet, I'll throw that contractor bag over all the top of it. And because inevitably you can get those, like Kafaru sells them, everybody sells those. I don't even know what they're made out of. They're made of some kind of steel nylon. Man, I don't know what it's about backpacks, but they love the fucking poke holes in that. So you buy this $70, $60 bag, you put it on there, and 30 minutes later you're going through the brush, you set it down, a trekking pole comes through it, and you got a hole in it anyways. I'd rather have that in a 99-cent trash bag. Yeah. I bought a couple from a place. It was called like Jimmy Tarps or something, and he used to sell on eBay. Yeah, a little place, and he made some nice one that it was like a bungee corded deal, and they weren't too pricey, and they're stupid light. So I still have two of those, but I bought these years ago, and they've never once been used. So like you said, we bring it most of the time, and even when it rains, we don't pull it out. So I guess I don't need to carry it anymore. And the only other thing, like I said, if it's really raining hard, I'm underneath, but you make a product for the rain for the front of your rifle, the Jimmy. Yeah. That would be the only thing. I mean, we use tape forever, right? Yeah. But the Jimmy, you don't want water in your barrel, especially if you're going to take a long shot. So that's the only thing is make sure you have your barrel covered. Yeah. If you don't have a Jimmy, every rifle needs a Jimmy. Yeah. Don't use the pull-out method. It's better to have one and not need it than to need it and not have it. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I like them. And then scopes, I always have some kind of scope cover. I guess I should say it's called the original Jimmy. Yeah, didn't somebody try to? Not that muzzle topper you might see somewhere else. The original Jimmy was right here at Unknown Munitions. Yes. All right. So rifle pack. Okay. So how about, something over your rifle scope? You got like at bear camp, right? Like we have the rifle setting out. It's on the target. We're not setting something over the rifle, worried about, water getting in shit. You don't worry. I don't. People say they do, but I mean, I use quality rifle scopes. I'll put covers on them. Like I'll put scope covers on the end, but that's more for just use in the back end and pack out. And the goats knock it over. Nothing, messes up the glass. But as far as water getting on it, that doesn't bug me.
Any other things you worry about getting wet? I know you say you jump right under a tarp, but let's say you're walking and it's a drizzle. Nothing else.
I always have my sleeping bag and my Puffy gear inside of a dry bag.
Okay.
Because that's the only thing that's for survival items. That's the only thing I worry about getting wet.
Use like the, what's the one they call it? Like a nano ultra seal. Oh, Sea to Summit.
Sea to Summit.
Sea to Summit, like nano, yeah, whatever.
Yep.
Nano.
And either that or the Outdoor Research has waterproof compression bags.
Uh-huh.
And I put those in there. Because those are the 3 things that I need the most.
Huh.
Look at that. The one and only Jimmy for the end of your rifle.
I'm going to change the fucking name. I'm going to call it the original Jimmy and put a TM. I'm going to trademark the name and put it next to it there.
That goes back to if you make a product and somebody rips it off, it's like, why? Why? And especially if a company sells products, they could have just called you and say, hey, can we sell this? That
was really what pissed me off the most is they could have just said, I even told them, I said, I would have sold it to you at my cost just to get my product in your store. And never once did they think to reach out and support the little guy.
Yeah, don't burn the bridges.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't. All right. Trash bags and other hacks. You talked about a contractor bag. Those just tend to be.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
not a fucking leaf. Go to Home Depot or Lowe's. They have contractor bags.
Yeah, those are like they even have compactor bags.
Yeah, and they're like heavier. I don't know the mill, but there's a thickness. And they're like another thing you can do, just another hack is you never want to leave your meat in a creek in open water, like you get around it. So I usually carry 3 contractor bags. They weigh nothing, and you can seal it up and put your meat, in the hot weather, in your meat in the river, and it doesn't get the water bacteria shit on there. There's just a million uses for them, but get the thick ones. If you get the ones you get, at whatever store you're
imagine it's probably 4 mil thick, or
I think it is 4 mil.
Luke, pull up Home Depot contractor bags. That's probably 4 mil, 6 mil, something like
you're
that.
Right, 4 or 5 mils.
Yeah,
and it matters because I've used the cheap ones and they get holes real quick, or they just leak.
Yeah.
Fucking Luke.
Oh, he's got that. That's where that reactor. He's got a thermalite reactor. So you put your sleeping bag inside this outer bag that basically boosts your temp rating.
I just bring a bag that's appropriate.
Not everybody can afford to have 4 different fucking Western mountaineering bags in all flavors.
Oh, well, get serious. Like, you don't need that fucking morning coffee.
Okay, what I put all right, so I put this down.
It's 3 mils. 3 mils a contractor bag. That's the Husky contractor bags from fucking Home Depot.
It's a yellow box, red writing, Husky contractor cleanup bags.
They the shit.
Nice. So 3 mil.
That's what you need.
3 mil will cut it. I put on here, I hate being wet and cold. I do hate being wet and cold. My feet fucking get cold, and I don't think anybody likes being wet in general. And I said, how do you deal with it when hunting and glassing from the same spot for hours? Like, how do you mentally stay in it? And you got a lot more experience and you've been out hunting much longer, but just sitting there when it's wet, cold, and miserable, especially you don't see no animals, and you're literally just fucking sitting there with your binoculars, your binos out, and
but it's cold.
Yeah,
I usually start a fire. I usually do because it's too you can't win. Like, and I've tried over boots and they work, but I don't really like packing them. I've tried insulated boots and they seem to make my feet colder. So now I either use those little toe heaters. We're talking, late October, November, December hunts. But I'm not going to lie to him, but 9 times out of 10, I start a fire.
Yeah. Well, usually if it's wet outside, it's pretty tough. I'm not a great fire starter. So I guess that's one piece of advice is people can improve their fire starting skills.
Usually though, it's like, it's either at that point in time, it's so cold. If my feet, I guess my feet don't get cold when it's above 32 degrees like some people. It's got to be 20s, teens is when my feet get really cold. And a lot of times I'll start a fire and I'll take my shoes off, man. I'll put my feet up next to them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's like your feet are going to get cold if you're backpacked in. If you're a day hike, like I'll use pack boots and I'll use those little toe warmers and I do fine. But I don't have that problem. I don't have cold feet. Like,
cold feet suck.
I remember when we were shooting, when my elk froze up solid, when I gutted him out and left him, came back. Well, Mason kept saying how his feet were freezing and my feet really weren't cold. So it's like, I don't have a good answer because I don't really have that problem. But when they do get cold and I just start a fire and pull them out. And another tip that, again, I don't have a feet problem, but I heard this from, I think it was Randy Newberg, is He said as soon as he stops somewhere to glass, he'll put on a fresh pair of sweet socks to get his sweaty ones out of there.
Okay.
Again, I don't have that cold feet problem, but if I did, that'd be one of the things I'd try. What have you tried? Have you tried anything?
No, I've thought about doing the overboots thing. And like you said, it's really when we're talking about teens and just being out and being cold. I feel like once they get cold, it's just going to be cold. It is what it is.
Yeah. And you can walk it. I mean, that's the other thing is if you're totally cold, walking solves a lot of problem for cold.
Oh, it does.
For cold weather.
Yeah, even like when we were when we did the elk hunt in Montana, that was cold that morning. Just that first glassing morning we sat up there for an hour. My feet were freezing, so we got up and started walking, moved to the next spot. And
I've hunted quite a bit early on with Aaron, and he's like got that Raynaud's where he gets cold really, and his hands start turning white.
Oh, no shit.
And he does like just massive amounts of push-ups. Get some heat going.
Okay. Just in the spot you're sitting in.
Now, just racking out push-ups, get that circulation going.
Nice. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. And then I put, at what point are you considered a pussy when you give up and pack it in?
Here's the thing with that is if there's a spot where your time, you look at your weather, and this can burn you because it's burned me, and you see there is no day where it is going to be clear. Like me and you, we do a lot of ambush long range shooting, hunting. We set a spot, wait. If it's not going to be clear and you're not going to spot where you can just walk around and try to bump into them spot and stock wise, that would be a point. But a lot of times you'll leave and that fucking weatherman's wrong. And the next day it's
especially
beautiful.
Up here.
Yeah. Like they have
it's horrible.
I should have been a weatherman because you could just bullshit people nonstop up here.
Yeah.
And you'll leave and it'll be crystal clear and no fog. It's so I don't know. It's kind of I've been out there a lot. I get ideas of how things are going to work out. And I would say most of the time they work out that way, but I've been burned on that too. What you don't want to do is get in a situation where you're going to get cold, get depressed, and go home because you got depressed.
Yeah.
Or you left something at home. That's another thing that happens a lot. And this is not really about the rain, but being a pussy also is a mental thing. Did you leave a lot of fires going at home? You're constantly thinking about that, or you are fat and out of shape, and I'm always fat and out of shape, so I just got to work through that. But I never really went home because it was raining and cold.
So you're not a pussy.
Well, no, I want to kill. I mean,
you want to kill something.
So,
let's see.
Luke, you wait all. This is the thing I just want to talk about because I see this on Rockslide a lot. You fucking wait all year long for your 5 days, whatever you have, and you're gonna give up because you're fucking a little bit cold. You fucking are a pussy.
When you put it like that, it doesn't sound good.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm not tough. I'm not tougher than you. It just, you waited this whole time and money and you got there and you're going to walk out because it got a little cold. I just I don't get it. So.
Luke wants to know, how do you control condensation in your tent?
Well,
if you have a hot tent, it's probably not something to worry about.
It's still nylon, like most of the stuff for Dyneema. You're going to have condensation. There's really nothing you can do about it, but you can get, like, if you can use canvas that's why we keep always going back and trying these lightweight canvas, but unless it's pretty much where it rains, it's condensation. You're kind of just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. I know a lot of it has to do with the humidity outside versus the temperature and dew points and things like that.
Yep. And if
it'll be worse certain nights.
Put a tent the first couple of days. If you put a tent up over wet ground, I mean, that fucking's only got one way to go, and it warms up with you or heat.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
So it always feels like it's kind of raining. It's like a double-edged sword. That thing does get annoying, and there's nothing out there but like cotton canvas that'll take care of that.
Yeah.
So you just kind of got to deal with it and have a really good wood stove and have a mason to gather the wood.
I have one of those like super light pack towels. We'll always bring no matter what. And you just try to wipe it a bit and then wring it out on the ground and wipe it a bit, Yep.
And I've done that. The thing is, it's like counterintuitive though, because you're going to wring it out on the ground. It's just going to go back up there.
Yeah. You want to wring it out like out the door of your tent.
And they have, like you get the Hillebergs, and they have the 2-layer, and that helps condensation a lot. Having a floor. I hate floor. I am claustrophobic. I cannot fucking sleep in a tent with a floor in it. And I've never had problems. I've never had it where it's raining so bad inside I had to cover anything up.
Yeah.
It's like hit or miss, but having a floor would help in condensation, and it's a double wall, I think they call it, like the Hillebergs and the mountaineering tents. That'll help with condensation, but you can't have a fire in there. I'd rather have the fire and get a little wet from the condensation dripping in than not have the fire.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we use pack animals now of some sort most of the time, backpacking in. That might be different if I was solely backpacking in.
We had a Big Agnes copper spur, 3-person. That's what we had on when we did that John Muir trail, me and the boy.
Was that heavy?
No, it wasn't bad at the time. I think it was a couple pounds.
Did it have vestibule? How do you say that? Vestibule?
Vestibule.
Vestibule, yeah.
Yes, if you had if you just ran the main tent with the poles, but then it had like the over tent that goes over the top of it, and then it had vestibules.
See, I've never.
It was a good tent.
Yeah.
I think in the backpacking world, they're pretty much top of the line. They have a lot of stupid light options now. Like you can get a single person one that's an enclosed tent for like £1 or less. It's not very durable, obviously.
99% of my hunting involves a tarp. That's it.
Yeah.
But I have gone to teepees and like the sawtooth and stuff like that later now that I have pack animal.
So you touched on this a bit, knowing whether you're going to be static a lot or walking a lot in your rain gear, but how to plan a layering system when you know it's going to rain. In other words, not just talking about the outer shell, but the inner shell, the inner layers.
This is something like look up knowledge from storms because John Barklow does a really good job of talking about this.
Who is this John Barklow?
So he's the guy that comes out all the clothing for Sitka.
Okay.
But he used to train, I might get this wrong. He was in the Navy and he trained special operations Navy SEALs how to survive. He worked in Kodiak and they came out there and they did like survival school.
Okay.
So now he's the chief designer for big game at Sitka. I think that's right, John. Sorry if I messed that up. But he has a whole muster. He's the one that did the rewarming drill where they jump in the water with all their shit on and they go get in their sleeping bag and dry it out like in freezing cold.
I remember that was a few years ago.
Yep. So I have the only thing that changes for me is my Puffy layer. 90% of the time. My rain gear, if it's static, it may change a little bit for the rain jacket, but 99% of my hunting, that's the one that Eastman's did with John. That's John. Anyways, I use the same I use 4 layers up top, and most I'll use is 2. I rarely ever wear rain pants. People say that don't like that. And when it's cold out, I'll have puffy pants, so 3. I have always
those Kuyu ones we got.
Yep.
Over down pants.
Yep.
Okay.
Over down, or I have a pair like
what are those called?
Super wet. They're super down.
Kuyu makes some down zip over pants that are pretty badass. They're kind of waterproof. They're
super down.
Water resistant.
Yeah, they have a treated down.
Those are pretty badass.
They are. And I think they're just called the super down pants. But Kafaru has a pair that I'll use if it's going to be super wet, but they're super heavy. But so I wear the same thing. I wear Arrow Wool base layer, first light. My second layer is the only thing that I don't have totally nailed down, but I wear a lot of different things second layer. But whatever it's going to be synthetic and push moisture. And then my puffy coat changes. Like I have the Stone Glacier one I wear most of the time, but I have one that I got made by Goose Feet Gear that I'll wear when it's super cold because it's 7 ounces and it's a pullover, kind of like the Kafaru one. And then the rain jacket. But that all could change if this is like a lot of ifs. But if I know it's going to be freezing the whole time, and whenever I get precipitation, it's going to be in the form of snow, I'll wear the Kafaru jacket.
Okay.
Because that fucker's highly waterproof or highly water resistant.
Yeah.
And it's synthetic, so it dries fast.
Yeah.
And it has the Kedora in the right places where I get down with my fat ass. I won't rip it. But that's the thing, though. If you don't have to worry about rain so much if it's going to be below freezing and you're going to get snow. Because snow's just not as wet.
Yeah. Huh.
So in a nutshell, that made no sense, but that's what I wear.
Okay. Did you get your deal set up a Stone Glacier?
What deal?
I don't know. You said you're working on a deal. I need one of those Stone Glacier jackets you're talking about. What's the down jacket you get from Stone Glacier?
Oh, the Grumman.
Yeah. I need me a Grumman.
Ah, Grumman.
Yeah. Grumman is the shit, guys. Ryan says that is the go-to
dude, it's
down jacket.
12-ounce jacket with a 5-ounce fill.
Yeah.
You don't... There is other jackets out there like it, but again, I want to support hunting companies, and it's got a 15.
Well, you told me that it's the one that didn't wet out.
Yep. Hyper Dry. Listen to that podcast on Rockslide. Hyper Dry, I put it in the podcast, is a wax base. It's on the down. It's a treated down, and it's a wax base treatment that does not die. There's lots of tech down. That's the only one that did not wet out. Hyper Dry.
Grumman.
They have pants and jacket, and all their sleeping bags are that same thing.
I think we've realized now you don't care much about the pants. You just want one pair of pants. No. Just one pair of pants.
I don't. If your shit dries fast.
Yeah.
Here's the deal: is I don't move well. It seems to always get wet anyways if I have rain pants on. So I'll just wear something that dries quickly.
Okay. Is there a down jacket that stands up to the rain? Why are there so many different marketing strategies for down and down alternatives?
Like the perfect timing is the only jacket that I wore that I in a fucking really down rain pour, not just a drizzle, that did not fail me was the Grumman. And I don't know why. I'm not knocking Kuya. It's a great brand. And they have the quicks down, they call it. That's theirs. And I don't know what it is inside there because it's they have a whole video on it, but they're not going to tell you what they do to it. But it held up the second longest, but it probably lost 50% of its loft in that. And I was just wearing them till they failed, till they totally were saturated and there was no loft. And I couldn't get the Stone Glacier to do it. The Kuyu didn't lose all its loft, probably lost half. But like the First Light Chamberlain, that fucker folded like a lawn chair. That thing lost its loft in 30 minutes. There was almost no difference between that and the Outdoor Research non-treated down jacket I had.
Wow.
So then I tried it on Tanya while we were hunting elk last year.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey, wear that as your outer layer, knowing it was like this sleety shit.
Yeah.
She had the two jackets she tried, which one was the Chamberlain and one was the Grumman, but it was the vest. It wasn't the full jacket Grumman. The Grumman did not fail, and that Chamberlain folded.
Interesting. Last thing here is boots getting wet. So whether you get water in your boots or you're just sitting in a downpour, whatever it might be, Gore-Tex, other shit. Do you have anything that you prefer when it comes to boots if you know it's going to be wet?
Here's my number one tip. Don't let your fucking feet get wet. Because it sucks. But if it does, Luke's going to have to look this up while we're talking about. There's this actual boot dryer now that uses a battery pack and a fan that sits in the top of your boot.
Oh, shit.
Pulls that moisture out.
Really?
Yeah. Lampers had it in their video last year. And I don't know what that's called, but that's the only thing, because you can literally get your boots wet inside and you could put them by your fire all week and they're still fucking going to be wet.
Yeah.
But if they're wet and it's freezing outside and you do not have a way to keep them dry at night, you better put them in your bag with you or you're going to be wearing fucking ice blocks in the morning. Yeah. So you got to put them in your sleeping bag. This goes back to having a quality sleeping bag, because my sleeping bags, I could never resell them because they stink like shit. They look like shit and nobody would buy them.
Yeah. But they do their job.
Yeah. Western Mountaineering.
Luke, see if you can find a USB powered boot fan.
It starts with a G.
Oh, that's like the Grumman. See, I'm gonna order that one.
The Grumman.
I don't know if it'll get here before bear camp.
What do you wear? Triple X? Double X?
I'm a double.
You're a big guy.
It's because I've been working out.
So well, you're thick. Luke, we need she thick one on here. It's 15 ounces or 11.8 ounces that Grumman.
Yeah. There you go.
Those powered. Those
I don't think it's going to be on. It ain't going to be on Amazon. It's going to be some
right there. That's it. The Grack saw or whatever. Gray saw. That's
there. It is. That one. Click that one. Okay. Grack saw. It's got 2K GRAKKSAW backcountry boot dryer.
Yep. See how it sits in there?
Oh shit.
Pretty slick, huh?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Ryan Lampers that I heard talking about this.
If he's carrying it, it must only weigh a half an ounce.
That ain't much. Those are pretty slick though.
How much does it weigh, Luke?
It's
portable.
No, it doesn't say on there, but that would be, you got to move that air out of there. That's why it won't dry out, especially if it's Gore-Tex based. There is the argument of leather boots because they just don't hold the moisture when they do get wet. And they'll dry out faster. But the problem with leather is like the wetter it gets, the more it stretches.
Mhm.
So you'll notice your boot laces are, 3 inches apart when they're dry and they're fucking touching when they're wet. Yeah, that's a problem.
I have noticed what you're saying about drying the boots out though, because even if you had we've had wet boots with a stove in the fucking tent, and you put them next to the stove to try to help dry them out, and the outside gets really dry and nice and warm and toasty, but as soon as you stick your foot in there, it's still fucking wet inside.
Yeah, it's got to pull that moisture out of there.
Yeah.
So those might be the shit. We're having Lampers on next week. We'll ask them about them.
Okay. Well, we'll have to bring a set of those this fall then.
The boot.
They got slick. A podcast too.
Fucking everybody has one.
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there can have their own podcast.
There's only one good shooting one.
Oh shit!
This one.
And hunting one.
Shoot to hunt.
Nice. All right, let me see. I think we got I think I pretty much covered everything. All the notes that I had anyway. Like I said, I hate being wet.
Do you have a tarp? You carrying that tarp?
Yeah,
over?
I actually have like a seal nylon whatever tarp that we've had for a minute. And then I got that. I'm just going to carry that Hyperlight all the time now. Mm-hmm. It's all set up.
Yeah, and on the pants, I think just want to state this again. I don't wear pants, but I do wear good gaiters.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, those go right into your boot.
Okay, what's the best gaiters?
There's really good gaiters all over out there. I keep falling back to the Kuyu. I like the Kuyu gaiters. And I had
gaiters got to be somewhat durable. I mean, we had some Sitka ones, and they have like these abrasion panels on the inner side. Well, first you got to fucking put them on right, left versus right, just so they're abrasion panels in the right spot. But even those abrasion panels fucking ripped off, and those are the Sitka, whatever they call them. I'm sure they don't have a bunch of different ones.
I destroyed the cryptic ones. I destroyed the bramble. They're called the bramble, I think, from First Light. The problem that always happens, and after these ones break, is I'm going to try the Stone Glacier ones, is the buckle always breaks on the bottom strap. Well, I just noticed Stone Glacier uses Dyneema that's replaceable, and you can just replace it on the fly if that broke.
No shit.
And the Dyneema strap.
Mm-hmm.
And that buckle, it's just always in a bad spot. You're going through rocks and it catches and it gets weak over time and snaps.
Dyneema doesn't seem like the right material for like an abrasion rough type of situation.
Luke, look up Stone Glacier gaiters.
Huh.
Pretty sure
we need some new ones right
Dyneema
now.
based.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get Kurt on the show and hit him up.
Okay. Some Grummins.
Do you have gators?
We had just those Sitka ones.
And you said they wore out.
Well, both those abrasion panels on the inside basically ripped off. Mm-hmm. They start ripping and flapping over, so you end up just pulling them off. And I wouldn't say that they're bad. They're not bad gators. Okay, Alpine gators. SQ2 from Stone Glacier. 11.5 ounces for the pair. See, I like them to be higher up.
Patented Dyneema boot strap.
Oh, there you go.
See, it's a strap.
Oh, it's like a rope.
Yeah.
It's like a round. It's not a...
Yeah, so you can easily replace it to where that buckle goes. You're just fucked.
Yeah. Well, if you're in the market for some gators, these look pretty badass.
Yep. I've not used them. I know some people that I trust that have, and they say they're fantastic. Because I used to wear the outdoor research gators most of the time. They're not a lot different than everybody else's. The thing I liked about the Kuyu is their fabric seemed to be a little more durable. So,
actually, we have had those outdoor research ones. They have basically like the big durable, the big tall one. Yeah, we've had those for snowshoeing.
Yep, buckles break.
Huh.
That hopefully would solve the problem.
Well, if you guys are watching on YouTube, there is a rifle out here on the middle of the table. This was the T-Rex killer. Came back in for some low development, and it's a pretty badass rifle, but it's basically a 14-pound 375 Chi-Tech. So it's legal hunting weight here in Idaho. It's got a 28-inch Bartline barrel benchmark barrel. It's called the Light Idaho Contour. It's got a big old TI Pro 5 Heavy, which is the 1.2 diameter. It's got a Maven scope on here. Do you know what the name of that Maven is? The bigger one?
It's a BR4.
BR4 Maven scope. It's got a Bat Machine CT action that has been lightened up by Bat, kind of custom. And of course, a pretty bitchin' paint job from Unknown Coating in this. Basically, the customer wanted it to look like it was found on the original Jurassic Park Island, but like 10 years later. So we went in and rusted out the barrel a little bit on the outside and did a pretty badass, I think it's badass,
That
paint job.
It does. It stands out.
It's got a raptor on the side. We got the Jurassic Park logo. And of course, all basically the Jeep colors. It's got yellow on the bottom, fades up into green with the red kind of tiger stripes. But yeah, pretty badass. That's a Manners Nighthawk. Something like a T4 Nighthawk stock.
Is that the same contour that's on my 33XC?
No, this is basically a bench. No, it's not the same contour. We call that we wrote that contour for a 24-inch 338 barrel, and it's just called the Light Hunter.
I'm saying, because that looks thicker.
No, 338 Hunter is what we call that one. This one's thicker.
Those that don't know, you have to be under 16 pounds loaded up in Idaho.
Yeah, to hunt with your rifle in Idaho, it's got to be 16 pounds or less with everything on it, basically.
Yep. And people say I've got weighed, so they do it. But this gun is sexy.
That's pretty cool.
What's the specs on it? What's the velocity on something like that?
We're about to do load dev.
Yeah, that's not the bullet up here. This is just up here is the greatest cartridge ever invented, the 6UM. If you haven't heard of it, go check it out.
It just leaves them places. He actually carry him in his fucking pocket.
I don't have it today, but I usually do. I have showed so many people that bullet.
Yeah.
But what is spec this out? What does this baby cost if I wanted to order it today?
This is actually not that. It's about the same price as our regular builds. It's right around $5,500. So if you want a 28-inch barreled 375 Chi-Tech hammer that you can hunt with, this will get the job done. Single feed, obviously, because it's Chi-Tech. Chi-Tech, for those of you who don't know, so when you have bolt faces on an action, you have your standard bolt face, which would be 6.5 Creed. Then you move up into Magnum, which is like a 300 Win Mag, 300 PRC, 6.5 PRC. Then you have a Lapua bolt face, which is, of course, 338 Lapua, 33 XC. Then the next step moves you into a whole nother set of actions, a whole nother league is the Chi-Tech bolt face. And then the next step after that is the BMG bolt face. So Chi-Tech, if you want to build a Chi-Tech, there's not a huge amount of action options out there, especially if you want something lightweight. So that's why the Bat CT action really is a good choice. Now, of course, if you tell your buddy you're building a 375 Chi-Tech hunting rifle, and they'll be like, what the fuck? But yeah, 14 pounds, you can do it. If you got that 2,000-yard moose shot.
I built a 338 Snipe Tack, which is same case, just neck down to 338.
Mm-hmm.
Vicious.
What action was that?
I think it was the same action.
Same action.
It was a Bat CT, I think. Yeah. And it was right there, 15.5 pounds. Didn't have a TI Pro at the time. We just had the Terminator brake. Oh. And the problem was it was 400 shot barrel life.
Yeah.
But it's killed a lot of things. I sent you that bear video the other day with that guy shooting a bear.
Yeah.
That was with that Snipe Tack.
Yeah.
But it's
cut him in half.
Pretty much. It's been back to Dallas twice for new barrels, I believe. And the Chi-Tech is a nasty round.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would kill a T-Rex.
I think so. It's got T-Rex killer on the side of it.
Anything else?
Badass. I think we're good.
We're going to go bear hunting next week. So
yep.
We'll have something each week because we got ahead, but we'll have bear stories hopefully when we get back.
Well, maybe once the Peterson guys kill one, we ought to do a podcast out there with them. Tell them what they thought.
Yep.
We'll bring the travel gear.
We're gonna shoot one of this with their brass with the 7 PRC. How's that going?
They're bringing their own gun.
Ooh, do you know what they're bringing?
I think a 6.5 PRC. I think I saw him doing some load dev on it. Maybe 6.5 PRC.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
Oh, you know what we fucking didn't do is do a giveaway. We got to remember that for the next time.
What we need to do is just make somebody else in charge of it so it gets remembered.
Luke, we have a giveaway. Somebody had to give. We have to do 2 next podcast. As always, you want to get a hold of us, it's podcast@shoottohunt.com, or you can go to Instagram and it's shoot to hunt on Instagram. Send us a DM.
Yep.
Thanks for listening.